All right, well, welcome. I think what we'll do is we'll first start off with some announcements, and then we'll go from there on this last day of 3.1. So here we go. Here's our daily announcements.
I'm Chase.
And I'm Caitlin.
And these are your daily announcements. Past weekend, the theater was alive and well here at Park High School with live performances of the musical Theory of Relativity. The cast, crew, and kit presented an amazing show. If you weren't able to catch the show in person, this weekend there will be 3 virtual performances, Friday and Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 2. You'll need to purchase tickets to see the show. However, 1 ticket to the virtual show allows your entire household to watch the show at the same time.
Tickets can be purchased online at parkwillpack.org/tickets. Performance times are set, so make an evening of it. Pop some popcorn, grab a snack, and sit back and enjoy the show. You will not be disappointed by the time these students have poured into the show.
In response to the rise in hate towards Asians, the 833 Asian Affinity Club of Advisors are hosting a virtual conference to help our Asian students to channel their energy during these trying times. At the Asian Affinity Conference, Building and Strengthening Our Community Together, participants will hear from professionals in law and policy, art, community organizing, and mental health.
Students will also have a time to share their experiences and ask questions at the conference. The Asian Affinity Conference, Building and Strengthening Our Community Together, this Friday, April 23rd, 2021, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Zoom. Questions, comments, or concerns? Contact Mr. Fong at mfong0@hoaho.org.
On a brighter note, seniors, good news, the $1,000 Cottage Grove Chamber of Commerce Scholarship deadline has been extended to Friday, May 14th. Get your application.
Also, if you are planning on attending a 2-year school this fall, the $2,500 Otto and March Schmaltz Scholarship is available. The deadline to submit is April 28th. These scholarships and others can be found on the scholarship list on Naviance. If you have any questions at all, ask Ms. Schrenkler in the counseling office.
These have been your daily announcements, Park High School.
Have a thrilling Thursday.
For that. Okay. All right. Work in progress. Work in progress. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. All right. So here we go on our last day. It is Earth Day. So happy Earth Day. How many years old is Earth Day? What do we think? How many years have we been celebrating Earth Day? 70. So that would put it back in 1951. All right, 1951. Okay, anyone else? We'll click GTS in it. 50? Not bad. Not bad. All right. It is 51. 51. Yes, last year was 50th anniversary. So in 1970, we decided let's celebrate Earth, right? And a lot of that is on the hinge of some of the environmental concerns that were going on, especially here in the United States. Like the American bald eagle was on the verge of extinction, and a lot of it had to do with some pesticides like DDT, where a bald eagle would simply try to sit on its eggs to incubate them, and they'll crush them. That's what DDT had done. So Earth Day, all that stuff. Woodsy the Owl would tell us, give a hoot, don't pollute, all that stuff. There we go, Earth Day. So happy Earth Day. Take some time there. We will wrap up the Civil Rights Unit here. All right, and that means that last summative piece the three branches of government plus grassroots what we do today, and any missing assignment is. All right, and I do have one last video clip here. So there we go, one last video clip for history of the Americas. And it is looking at civil rights achievements. And perhaps probably the biggest one is the right to vote. So reflecting on some achievements there. And we'll go, and then we'll pick off, then we'll try to build off it, okay? So here we go. Got a little video clip here. So give me some time here, share that.
By the time we get to the March in Washington, August 1963, we have 250,000 persons who were there in the march. You had a platform where you had ministers, you had many coalitions speaking, talking about the importance of civil rights and how we needed to pass legislation. We knew that President Kennedy initially was involved in that as part of him becoming president. But by the time of the march, people were feeling antsy. It hadn't happened. After the march, we were ready.
But really, it's all of us who must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice, and we shall overcome.
Congress felt they needed to do something about this in order to ensure that we wouldn't have discrimination on the basis of gender, race, color, or national origin. Those are the words that are in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We have a federal agency that's now involved in making sure that those rights are reinforced, and it led to other pieces of legislation that expanded it to persons with disabilities, older persons, just as part of expanding the rights that American citizens have. Once we moved from the March on Washington, that actually served as a movement, because when you think about it, Congress started to act. We had the Civil Rights Act, and then you may remember all the protests that were occurring about getting people to register to vote, and folk were hurt in that process. Congress felt the need to put in another piece of legislation that protected our right to vote. And it wasn't just that we had a right to vote, it was to take out those kind of things that were used to stop people from going to the polling polls by saying, well, can you read or can you write, or moving place you can vote. And one of the things to think about it is that this issue, the Voting Rights Act, is something that we talk about today. It's not just something that happened in 1965. It's a piece of discussion because it's a protected right. Every time you go to vote for somebody in an election is because in 1965, we made it so that all of us can vote without having someone hurt us, without violence that occurred before the 1965 Act.
Yes, I am muted. just when that came up. And then the issue about civil rights and how there's so much that is encompassed in civil rights and who it applies to. And so the civil rights movement, it's an ongoing process. It's constantly being addressed, constantly changing, constantly evolving. Okay. Does anyone have any comments or any thoughts there on that video clip or anything about this whole idea of that we've been approaching here, changing the social fabric of America with civil rights? All right. Well, throughout the class period, we are going to be hearing construction. They're replacing a door. So it's something that we have to try to adjust to. Ideally, it would be nice if they would have waited a day, but you know, it is what it is. Just brings back memories of the last time we had one-way hallways was when we had massive construction as well, where they were ripping off the roof, it seemed like, and changing the lighting and some of our interior of our classrooms where it was a construction zone, and debris would fall in my classroom as we are taking tests and learning. So we just moved to another side of the classroom. That's all you got. That's all you do. That's all you do. All right. So do we have any questions about the three branches of government and or plus the grassroots? Are we seeing some changes in action here when we look at this? Hope so. Hopefully we are seeing some changes, and you might think that some of them might be small, but still you add a bunch of small changes together, it becomes big. Becomes big. Kind of like a conversation had in an in-service when we talk about throwing crumbs out there. One person had said, well, a bunch of crumbs together might eventually be like a slice of bread. So you just don't, it's important, it's powerful, it has still meaning, and you combine it together and it does create that strength. All right, so if there are no questions, all right, and please, if there are questions, you always let me know, okay? I will give you the time here. Today will be the time to wrap it up, get your posts, your social media posts taken care of, and submit will be fantastic, all right? Okay, I'll leave it at that. Those at home, you can stay on or exit and have a fantastic day. Those that are here, let's just continue.